The deep space research vessel Echo of Infinity hangs motionless near the flickering corpse of a dying star, its hull groaning under the weight of the silence. Then the void ripples. A colossal shape peels itself from the darkness, a nightmare of writhing tendrils and blinking eyes that shouldn't exist. The crew's screams die in their throats as the thing's whispers coil into their minds, unraveling thoughts into gibberish. All except one, Dr. Lila Kane, the ship's self-proclaimed comedian scientist, clutches her stomach as giggles burst from her lips. The cosmic horror pauses. One grotesque eye twitches. For the first time in eternity, something flinches back, and in that impossible moment, the universe's most terrifying weapon is born: human laughter. The horror doesn't know it yet, but its doom just told a fart joke. But as the terror escalates, something shifts in the air. The crew of the Echo of Infinity crumples one by one, their minds unraveling under the horror's relentless psychic assault, mouths foaming, eyes rolling back as they babble in tongues no human should know. All except Lila Kane, who stands there clutching her sides, laughter bubbling up like a spring that just won't stop, and that's when they see it. Every time she snorts or giggles, the creature's tendrils recoil, its countless eyes blinking in erratic bursts, as if her joy is a physical force pushing it back. Lila wipes tears from her eyes, catching her breath just long enough to shout over the chaos. It's never heard laughter before. Think about it, this thing feeds on despair, right? The collective misery of dead civilizations, but happiness, pure, stupid, human joy, that's like poison to it. The ship's artificial intelligence chimes in, its voice calm amid the madness. Analysis confirms, laughter emits a unique neural resonance pattern. It is incompatible with the horror's existence. A stunned silence follows. Engineer Ruiz, barely holding himself together, mutters, "So what? We're gonna laugh it to death." Lila grins, wild and bright. "Better, we're gonna weaponize comedy." Around them, the creature writhes, its form flickering like a corrupted signal, but already it's adapting, dampening the sound of her voice. The crew exchanges glances. If they're going to survive, they'll need more than just a few jokes. They'll need an entire arsenal of human absurdity, and time is running out. The horror may have spent eons consuming despair, but it's about to learn the hard way. Nothing in the universe is more unpredictable, more dangerously ridiculous, than a group of humans backed into a corner and told to be funny. Now the real madness begins. Lila sprints to the comm station, fingers flying over the controls as she patches her personal datapad into the ship's broadcast system. If one joke made it flinch, imagine what a full set will do. She mutters, pulling up recordings of her old stand-up routines, the cringeworthy dad jokes, the puns so bad they loop back around to genius. The moment she hits play, the horror shudders like a glitching screen, its form distorting under the barrage of human absurdity. For a glorious second, it seems to work, until the creature's flesh ripples, mutating new membranes that dampen the sound waves, turning Lila's punchlines into muffled nonsense. She doesn't miss a beat. Whirling to face the crew, Lila spreads her arms wide. "Okay, lesson learned. This thing's a quick study, so we go bigger, dumber." Engineer Ruiz stares at her like she's lost her mind, which, given the circumstances, seems fair. "You're saying we fight an eldritch abomination with slapstick?" Lila's grin is downright feral. "Exactly. This thing's spent eternity feeding on despair. It doesn't just hate joy, it doesn't understand it, so let's drown it in the dumbest, most human stuff we've got." She yanks open a supply locker, tossing whoopee cushions and rainbow wigs to the crew. Pranks, physical comedy, clown noses. "Oh, we are so rigging the holographic projectors for a pie fight." The horror looms closer, tendrils scraping against the hull, but the crew moves faster. They slap stickers on consoles, program the ship's drones to squirt water at nothing, and in Ruiz's case strap squeaky shoes over his boots. Lila wires the emergency alarms to play circus music. It's chaos, it's beautiful, and as the first rubber chicken sails through the air, something miraculous happens. The creature hesitates. Its edges blur, as if the sheer idiocy of it all is unraveling the very fabric of its being. But the real test comes when Lila cues up the holograms. Suddenly, the bridge is packed with a virtual audience laughing, clapping, howling at jokes that don't even exist. The horror writhes, its form flickering between solid and static, and for the first time, the crew hears it make a sound, a high-pitched whine like feedback from a broken speaker. Lila pumps her fist. It's working now, final touch. She flips a switch, and the ship's gravity plates briefly invert, cups clatter to the ceiling. Ruiz yelps as he floats upward, legs kicking. And then, the punchline, the artificial intelligence in its driest tone, announces, "Warning, existential dread levels dropping, recommend additional silliness." The crew bursts into laughter, real, unfiltered, belly-deep guffaws, and the horror recoils like it's been slapped. Its adaptations can't keep up. Every joke, every prank, every absurd human moment chips away at its reality. The Echo of Infinity isn't a research vessel anymore. It's a weapon, and its payload is pure, unadulterated joy. Yet even as the creature stumbles, the crew knows this is only the beginning. The horror is wounded, not beaten, and somewhere in the void between stars, it's learning, adapting, which means they'll need to get even more creative because the next round won't just be about making it flinch. It'll be about striking the killing blow, but the horror isn't done yet. As the crew's laughter echoes through the ship, the entity strikes back, not with physical force, but with something far more insidious. The air thickens, the walls seem to stretch into impossible distances, and suddenly, the bridge isn't a bridge anymore. It's an endless void, a crushing expanse of darkness where stars flicker like dying embers. The crew's breath catches. This isn't just an illusion. The horror is pouring its essence into the ship, warping reality itself to drown them in despair. Yet here's the thing about humans: give them a nightmare, and they'll turn it into a punchline. Ruiz, still wearing his squeaky shoes, stomps hard on the deck. The sound cuts through the silence like a foghorn. Lila, her rainbow wig askew, claps her hands. "Oh, nice try, but we've seen scarier stuff in bad horror movies." She whips out a handheld projector, and suddenly, the void is dotted with floating cartoon ghosts, the kind with goofy grins and wobbly movements. The crew erupts into laughter, their voices bouncing off the impossible walls. And that's when it happens. The horror's nightmare wavers, its edges cracking like glass under pressure. Every burst of laughter sends visible ripples through the void, as if joy itself is a corrosive force against the creature's power. The lights flicker wildly, the ship's systems glitching to the tune of yakety sax. Of all things, a chaotic, speeding melody that turns the bridge into a slapstick frenzy. Ruiz whoops as he trips over nothing, sending a rubber chicken flying into Lila's face. The crew howls, their collective joy feeding into something bigger, something the horror can't contain. But the creature is desperate now. It doesn't just want to escape, it wants to take them with it. Tendrils of black smoke seep from the vents, the floor, even the crew's own shadows, weaving into the ship's systems. The Echo of Infinity groans, its metal bones creaking as the horror merges with its framework. Alarms blare, screens flash warnings, structural integrity failing, oxygen levels dropping. The ship isn't just a vessel anymore, it's becoming part of the horror, a prison of despair dragging them all into the abyss. Lila's grin falters for the first time. This isn't just about fighting back anymore, it's about survival. She locks eyes with Ruiz, then the rest of the crew. "Time to go nuclear," she says, and there's no laughter in her voice now. Just determination. If the horror wants to play dirty, they'll hit it with the one thing it can't absorb, the most devastating weapon humanity ever invented. Not nukes, not lasers, the perfect dad joke. As the walls close in, the crew braces for their last, dumbest stand, because if they're going down, they're taking this cosmic buzzkill with them, in a blaze of ridiculous, world-ending glory. Now, in the final moments of their desperate stand, Lila makes her move. With the ship's systems collapsing around them, she lunges for the holographic controls, her fingers flying over the panels. The horror looms closer, its tendrils fusing with the walls, the ceiling, even the air itself, but Lila isn't fighting with weapons anymore. She's fighting with something far more powerful. The ship's projectors flare to life, and suddenly, the bridge isn't a battlefield. It's a comedy club. A virtual audience materializes around the horror, hundreds of figures clapping, cheering, roaring with laughter. The creature recoils, its form flickering like a broken transmission. Every chuckle from the holograms sends cracks spiderwebbing through its Inkai body, as if joy is literally tearing it apart. Lila steps forward, her rainbow wig somehow still clinging to her head, and clears her throat. This is it, the moment everything hinges on. She delivers the punchline like a sniper's bullet. Why don't skeletons fight each other? A beat, the horror freezes, sensing the trap but unable to resist the absurdity. Lila grins. They don't have the guts. For a heartbeat, nothing happens. Then the horror convulses, its entire form seizing like a glitching screen. The dad joke, a perfect storm of human stupidity and wordplay, hits its core like a virus. The creature's edges dissolve into static, its whispers of despair drowned out by the holographic crowd's uproarious laughter. The feedback loop builds, louder and louder, until with a final, ear-splitting giggle, the horror implodes. A burst of prismatic light floods the bridge, washing away the darkness, the tendrils, the nightmare itself. The echo of infinity shudders back into reality, its systems rebooting with a series of cheerful chimes. The crew stands in stunned silence, then erupts into cheers, hugs, and of course more laughter. But Lila just slumps against the console, exhausted. They'd won. Not with guns or shields, but with the one thing the universe never saw coming, the sheer, unstoppable force of human ridiculousness. As the ship's AI calmly announces, "Threat neutralized," she can't help but chuckle. Turns out, the cosmos wasn't ready for a well-timed dad joke, and with that, the echo of infinity begins its long journey home, its halls ringing not with screams, but with the sound of survivors laughing in the face of the void. Because sometimes, the scariest monsters don't stand a chance against the dumbest jokes. And so, the story of the echo of infinity reaches its final chapter not with a whimper, but with a punchline. The ship drifts back into known space, battered but intact, its crew nursing wounds both physical and psychological, yet something fundamental has shifted. The terror they faced should have broken them. Instead, it forged them into something new. Lila sits in her quarters, recording the official log entry with a tired smirk. Mission report. She begins, then pauses, shaking her head. How do you file paperwork for the impossible? Turns out, the universe's deadliest weapon wasn't antimatter or black holes. It was comedy. She taps the console, watching the words blink back at her. The horror died of irony. Guess that makes us the first intergalactic stand-up assassins. As the Echo docks at the orbital station, the crew steps onto the gangway to a hero's welcome, but not the kind anyone expected. No medals, no solemn speeches. Just a crowd of baffled officials staring at the rainbow wigs still perched on half the crew's heads, at the whoopee cushions tucked into pockets like grenades. Someone in the back giggles, then another. Within minutes, the entire docking bay is roaring with laughter, the sound bouncing off the metal walls like a living thing. Back on board, the ship's AI runs its final diagnostics. Analysis complete, it announces, primary threat eliminated via a rare pause, unconventional payload. Lila pats the console like an old friend. Call it a cultural victory. The galaxy will never be the same. Reports flood in, other horrors retreating from human colonies, their forms unraveling at the edges where laughter echoes. Scientists scramble to study the phenomenon, but Lila already knows the truth. The universe had spent eons perfecting despair. It just never accounted for humanity's refusal to take anything seriously. As the crew disperses, some to therapy, some to comedy clubs, all of them forever bonded by the absurdity of their survival, the echo of infinity powers down for repairs. Its halls, once filled with whispers of cosmic dread, now hum with the occasional chuckle, a prank left behind, a whoopee cushion waiting under a seat. Because in the end, that's the real victory, not just surviving the darkness, but filling it with something the darkness couldn't understand, something bright and stupid and utterly human. The universe threw its worst at them, and they laughed back.